Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of The New Frontier. My name is Joe Lambogieva. Today, Max is also missing. Like, we haven't eaten him. He is busy. He's traveling. He is a superstar, so he is excused. But today, I have a very special guest. She's actually a friend of mine, a very dear friend. I love her lots. But before I go anywhere personal, I'm going to tell you why she's such an awesome guest to have today. So she is from actually somewhere from like very close to where I'm from. She's from Romania. She's a brand owner and an agency founder and an entrepreneur. And she's had a very interesting Amazon journey, which she's going to tell us all about. She started as a seller on the EU marketplace and then have paved her way to selling on North America, where she has launched her first private label brand. Aside from being an Amazon seller, I don't know how she finds the time. She is also the founding person of AZ Rank, which is, well, she's going to tell you more, but it's a company that actually really helps brands launch their products on Amazon, helps them rank, and a lot more. Actually, the first time I heard about her was on Helium 10's podcast, so I'm sure that most people know about her. But anyway, AZ Rank has run more than 6,000 product launches, so they really know their stuff. And I'm going to stop talking because I think Alina is going to be able to tell us much more. Hi, Alina.
Hey. Hi, thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. So, how are you doing? Are you right now in Romania?
Yes.
Nice.
Totally Romania.
Awesome. I mean, surely the weather is nicer than here in London, but
enjoying spring, yes.
yeah, I can see by the t-shirt. Anyway, so what was like, we met, what is it, like now 5 years ago or something at BDSS. I had heard about you from Bradley's podcast. We were talking, I think it was in the honeymoon episode where he mentioned your name, and I remember before even knowing you, I scribbled Alina Vlaic. And so I basically already knew about you, and I knew about AZ Rank. But for our listeners, unless they live in Iraq, can you tell us a little bit about what AZ Rank is and how you help sellers?
Yes. Indeed, we helped Bradley with the honeymoon, and we had like a lot of projects with Helium 10. Part of one of their major tools is actually done with our help. The Cerebro, yes, the CPR number. But well, the journey, and it was an adventure for us. This goes back all the way to 2017. Oh my God, I'm so old. I just had like my second baby, my daughter, and we were into Amazon. We bought a course, actually. When I say we, it's my husband and I. We started studying Amazon, and as you know, we used to have, and we still have, another business here in Romania, which has nothing to do with Amazon. It's in the toy distribution space, and we said, okay, let's try this Amazon thing and see how it's going, because we already have the products, right? Let's put those products in Amazon, the ones that we have had in our warehouse. And that's what we did. Got approved by a couple of brands that were not selling on Amazon and started selling in the UK, which was in the EU back then.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was cool. This happened for about 1 year. We were doing good, not great, but good. And at one point we said, okay, now we're smart enough. Now we're good enough. Now we know everything. Let's launch a private label. And let's do it in the US because, it's a way larger marketplace. And since I was just like a new mom, I said, okay, let's go into baby, right? I know everything. I'm a new mom. So I went into baby. Very bad decision.
Oh, you silly.
Yes, I know. First product, actually, it was a variation. We ended up doing 3 variations. Was a milestone blanket. For the people who do not know, it was a blanket that you put a baby on with some props and you take photos 1 month, 2 months, so on. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people ask me whether if I think I would still fail it now. I don't know. I think so, honestly. And it's not because of anything else but the niche itself. I kept
Mm.
all over the times. I mean, from back then till now, every once in a while, I take a look at this niche, and I still find it impossible to understand. It brings up um, high potential products to launch in every tool, but I don't know anyone who actually had success with this type of product. At AZ Rank, I helped like at least 15, if not 20 sellers launching the exactly same blank. I mean, the same. It was a blanket, different design, right? And I used to tell them I tell them all, be very careful. This is don't put
I love
all
it.
your
Like,
savings.
be very careful. Synonym of don't do it. It's gonna fail.
No, but I couldn't, when you see people, especially new sellers coming, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna,
Yeah, the
drive a
hype, the
Ferrari
hype.
and cocktails on the beach, things like that. Yeah. So we failed it big time. uh, During the process of trying to make it work, I think it would
Mm.
be a better saying of this. I was doing Instagram, I was doing a little bit of everything, right? Instagram, Pinterest, the Facebook ads, and so on and so forth. So I got to have like a small 100-ish people, like my mini micro influencers.
Mm.
I got friends with them somehow. Those people promoted my blanket, and that's how AZ Rank was born. Basically, this is
Okay.
like the overall picture, because with those 100 people, or I don't know, it was 50 to 100, something like that, I started doing the famous search find buys back
Mm-hmm.
then to help other people, other friends in the beginning, launch their first product on the famous Amazon. So,
Amazing.
uh, in a nutshell, this was the journey. Um, I strongly believe that if it weren't for that brand, I wouldn't be here. And if it weren't
Mm.
for that failure, I wouldn't be here. I consider it a failure only in terms of, a product or a brand that didn't succeed, didn't have success. But if I look at it as an overall picture, it was my greatest success.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
my
this is the thing. I so believe in life that, like, it's a total cliche, but like one door closes, another opens. And Steve Simonson, like, I listened to him recently in Prague, and he was talking about, failing fast, because the faster you fail, the quicker you learn, and then the more you are able to reiterate. And so I just think that absolutely, at the time when like everything that you've put so much effort in bombs, is like, oh, fuck. Part of my French, but it's true.
That's okay.
Everyone feels like, oh my god, this is the end of the world. What should I do now? And then actually, it's literally the best thing that can happen. And it's so, I love entrepreneurship. I mean, I hate entrepreneurship because of that, but I love entrepreneurship because of that, because it's like just a total roller coaster of emotions and feels.
Yes. What I think it's the most important for everyone out there listening is, when you get into to a point like this, just try to remember that it is not the end of the world, and it is. I mean, have that um, thought in the back of your head that this is actually something good for you, and for sure karma works and something good is gonna happen afterwards. It takes a lot of mental strength,
Yeah.
but the way I um, juggled through it, let's say, was through learning
Mm.
everything that I thought I knew, but I realized I didn't, because obviously if you fail a brand and a product, then it means I didn't know everything or anything. And I just started learning. And then when you start learning, you realize things, you get in touch with people, you start talking to people, and things happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think like I'm going to keep back to this conversation in the years to follow. Just remember, just remind yourself about that. I want to talk a little bit about actually the Amazon ranking, like the algorithm, like how Amazon ranking has changed, since you started in, like, let's say 2000, 2018. And like to now, like, a lot has happened. We've talked extensively also on this pod about ranking, but what is your perception, given that, like, part of your core offering is about how to rank products on Amazon?
True. So if I look back now to 2017, it seems like it's a whole different world. Basically, almost nothing is the same.
Okay.
And it's kind of normal that it is like this. I mean, if we look at the Amazon 2017 versus 2020, 2010 or 2012, it's the same thing. So they're evolving. 5 years from now, who knows?
Yeah.
What's gonna be? I'm even scared to think about it. But anyway, the ranking has changed dramatically. Back in 2017, people used to launch or rank their products by giving away 1,000 units in 3 days, getting 1,000 reviews, all within the TOS. And when I say giving away, I'm talking about this search find buy. So basically, people would buy the product, their product, they would get their money back, and by searching for a specific keyword, they would rank on that keyword. Basically, like a regular purchase, only that it ends up with a rebate at the end of the day. So that was all permitted, and it was like the simplest way: velocity, 100% conversion rate. You're there. God help you. From now on. Well, now it's like a million other factors. First of all, we have a lot of data. We didn't used to have data. No data at all. No tools. Helium 10 was like Helium 3 back then, or Helium 2. They had like 2 tools or something like that. And they were one of the pioneers in the space. So now we have a lot of data, and we need to learn how to process that data and what exactly do we need to extract. That's a full-time job on its own. We have a lot of advertising right now, which also comes as a different game. We have the AI, we have the I like to call it like the new name of the game since a couple of years back. It's relevance on Amazon. Relevance basically is like a snowball formed of snowflakes, and each snowflake, it's a little thing. It's either a piece of data, it's either something about your listing, it's your browse node, it's your lift node, it's your everything gets put together, but everything needs to be relevant. We had so many situations with clients at AZRank coming, perfect listings. I mean, perfect, great, amazing, a PPC, everything was perfect. They would not rank at all. Not in top 306, not in top 306, no matter how many thousands of dollars they would spend in PPC or how many giveaways we would do. And that was only because of a wrong category, either their mistake or Amazon, how Amazon does. So all this put together, I call it relevance as the new name of the game, because everything is connected. There are multiple pieces of the puzzle, and you need to be careful which are your basics. Because okay, if you're an established seller, if you have a couple of years of experience, you already know what I'm talking about. But if you're a new seller listening to me right now, if you're still here, you're probably like, oh my God, this woman is crazy. I don't know about this, or when, how, I don't know. First, there's a lot of information. So we need to set up our basics first. From my point of view, the basics of ranking right now is the relevance of the listing towards the category, the relevance of keywords towards your listing. So, it's like a chain effect. And all that with some tiny little parts of fine tuning, like a little bit of PPC, some UGC here and there, you should have a good start. There are a lot of, I see a lot of sellers here, new and old, trying to do everything, or trying to fine tune up to the, you know, tiniest littlest thing or new update that Amazon, you just cannot do it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's possible to do it all at once. So going back, as a conclusion to your question, as long as you have this relevance, your listing to be relevant to the right category, your keywords to be relevant to your listing, and of course to have velocity. And here's where we come in. We help with getting this velocity, initial velocity, or afterwards if needed, a little bit of a push of the conversion rate, just so you know, you help the algorithm pick up the right data. You should have a good start or a good restart or a good maintenance
Yeah.
on keywords.
I mean, it's really interesting because we have talked a lot about ranking on the pod, and we touch upon different strategies, and we talk a lot about as well the future, and Rufus and everything. We're going to touch upon Rufus in a second, but yeah, I think sometimes sellers really go into like a really crazy heights of over optimization. But yeah, I think there is almost like a formulaic backend that almost has to be satisfied even before we start with the pretty stuff and the sexy stuff and the AI and etc. But actually,
Yeah, I forgot about the flat files.
yeah. Let me ask you a little, like, let's just dive in a little bit more, because we've been both on a lot of conferences, and a lot of the conversation in the industry right now is around how Amazon is reshaping to be very audience first focused, which is obviously, it's always been the mantra, but also in terms of what we're seeing rolled out from an AI perspective. So Rufus, and like the news about them customizing the titles based off the search query. There's obviously the presumption that over time they will customize the ranking pages for particular keyword based on that customer's data. Like, how do you see all of these conversations that we've seen happen connect with what you are doing right now with AZ Rank, and like, where do you see ranking move?
Very hard, but good question.
Sorry about that. It was just on my mind.
Yeah. Well, I will be very honest, and I think I've mentioned this to you before. The Rufus hype, I mean, I'm not denying it's there. It's there, it's gonna stay, and I think it's only the beginning of what Amazon is going to roll out in the next years. However, from the selling perspective, right now in 2025, and I'm a seller as well,
Yeah.
if I want to be successful on Amazon and have, I don't know, decent sales or very good sales or whatever, I still need to focus on audience actions, not necessarily thinking of maybe that audience is going to think of something, then Amazon will enforce that in the next 6 months or 1 year. And why do I say that? People are still searching for keywords. I know we're all living in the AI and ChatGPT and perplexity and whatever, but what's the percentage of the people in the US doing that? 1%? 2%? How many people shop on Amazon by intent? Less than 5%, probably. So they are still searching for keywords, and they will be searching for keywords for an extended period of time. They will always be searching for keywords. Only the percentages will change over the years. So what I say is this: yes, take one of your ASINs like I did. I had an issue in the ranking pill in my newsletter about this and how to play with Rufus. It's just one example, right? You can do it like in a million ways. play with it, optimize your listing based on Rufus, talk to Rufus, see what it says, put some keywords in there, see what happens. But again, my personal opinion is that it's only the beginning. They're still working a lot. We don't have to ignore it. I mean, it's not something that needs to be ignored. It will be there with us, and we need to find a way of living together. But in terms of ranking, you still need to be ranked on a specific keyword, and that happens through PPC, giveaways, external traffic, ads, and so on. As a basic, you do your Rufus optimization as well. But from our tests, for example, even if after talking to Rufus, getting some feedback from it regarding that particular product, and then going into the listing and putting some intentional keywords or attributes, it didn't move the needle yet.
Yeah.
because Rufus, it's an AI, and I'm who I'm talking to, right? You're the AI specialist and expert. You know way more about this than me. It's very, very early. It's a very, very early stage. So unfortunately, I cannot predict how it's going to be, because we need to take it one step of the way. But I'm pretty sure, like, if I look back to history, like 5-6 years ago, everything comes, you know, we will adapt as sellers, as agencies. We will adapt based on everything that's going to happen. For example, with the titles, right? There's a big hype out there right now with the titles, and you need to change the titles to, I don't know, 50, 80 characters in order to make it. This was 3 or 4 years ago. It was the same thing when they first started it, and there was some category, they tested something. I don't know if it had anything to do with Rufus, maybe, I don't know. It could have been, but everyone was like, oh my god, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna put all my keywords there. I mean, you're still gonna rank, it's just a different format. And then Walmart came because this is really funny. When I first started on Walmart, like, I think it was 4 years ago, their maximum length of title was 70 characters, and I was coming from 250, and I said, these people are crazy, I will never get ranked in there. But then I will. So I was. So it's just like these hypes. I know, I totally understand. I was there, I have been there, and I still am right now. When I see some news, I say, oh my god, this is going, what's going to happen? And then I say, okay, cool down. Nothing's gonna change overnight. Everything, there will be time, and it takes time, because Amazon is huge. We cannot even understand the complexity of everything behind, and what we see is just like, tiny pieces going out to the surface.
The tip of the iceberg.
The peak of the iceberg, exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, I like Rufus. I think it's going to, as I said, be there for a long time, and we need to find a way to live together happily ever after. But it's just take it my advice would be, in terms of ranking, one step of the way. Do a test with one of your listings, see what happens. For example, I played with some keywords and products in the adult space, adult product space. Very different, in the adult categories. This might be very interesting if there are listeners out there, if they haven't tried this yet. You cannot do PPC, and all that. Well, with Rufus, you can literally play a little bit. Give him some ideas. Like, for example, I'm looking for, I won't say whatever, toy, right? Which one would you recommend? And then based on this, and after getting a few responses and having a back and forth conversation, you get some really good ideas on what you should put in your listings in order to be recommended.
Okay.
That category, for example, is a very good category for Rufus. But if I'm selling vitamin C serum or ashwagandha gummies, which people use for months and months the same, and the same, or years, the same. Do you think they're going to ask for Rufus, which vitamin C serum should I use?
Yeah, no, fair enough. And you know what? Like me and Leo, like last week, we had Leo Sgovio on on the podcast, and we had a really interesting conversation. We touched upon that, and I and him, like we both have sort of the same kind of viewpoint, which is, I feel like Rufus is much more focused on improving the conversion rate on the page for a given
Selling.
product versus for discoverability. Like I think the main game that Amazon is playing right now is making sure that if somebody lands on a page, they can find everything that they need to know about this product in an
In
easy
order
way.
to make a purchase,
Exactly.
either for that product or any other product.
Yeah.
Amazon, very good point. Amazon doesn't care if Rufus recommends you this particular ASIN or another particular ASIN, as long as they're making a sale.
Yeah. That's what Amazon always cares, is just making the
Right.
sale.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it takes years for us to understand that.
Yeah. So, I want to ask you about your other company for like after, but like let's just cover a little bit about search find buy as a concept, and like what it was and what is, for example, the difference in what you currently offer versus what it was a very popular model several years ago.
Well, first of all, darling, you're not allowed to say search find buy anymore.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm joking. I'm joking. Like,
Amazon people are watching.
no, it's a little bit, and I will explain this for
Yeah.
people who don't know, because there are a lot of sellers out there, even very experienced ones that haven't used this strategy back in the days and don't use it now. But I strongly encourage them to test it. So basically, I'll start with explaining the model again. So, and then we'll move to the compliance part. Basically, when people are shopping on Amazon, they are searching for a keyword, scrolling through products, checking either this or that or whatever, and then deciding upon one, adding to cart and purchasing, right? That is the flow of any purchase on Amazon. Most of them, the ones that start with the search term, right? Well, that's what we do. We help you or a seller get a specific number of purchases, of orders on some keywords in order to help you either launch a product or maintain rank on a specific keyword. So basically, we're showing Amazon that there is demand for that product on a specific keyword, right? There's conversion rate for that keyword and for that product and so on. All the basic KPIs of Amazon. Now, this used to be called search, find, buy. Indeed, search, find, and buy, three-way process. And then the people get reimbursed. Now, back in 2021, Amazon made some changes to the terms of service. And again, I am here live speaking about this. So Amazon terms of service is not they're not very clear, and I'm pretty sure everyone selling on Amazon can vouch for that. Everything is broad. They leave a lot of interpretation space. They like to interpret it as they want. There is no place in the TOS where it says this strategy is forbidden. There are a few places here and there where the subject is touched, let's say. So I like to say, people, this is not a 100% white strategy, white hat. It's not black. It's somewhere in the light gray area, let's say. As long as you don't overdo, as long as you don't push it too hard, you should be fine. And either you do it with AZRank or with your own database of people. Just please stay away from getting reviews from these purchases, because yes, this is forbidden and it's not okay. Now, the way it works right now, we didn't reinvent the wheel. We just adapted our models. I'm not going to go too much into this,
Mhm.
into all the specifics, because there's a lot to explain. But at the end of the day, it's safe, and it is not a reimbursement for the people, because that was Amazon. That's what Amazon's issue is. We are not allowed, we as sellers are not allowed to incentivize people to purchase our products, and we don't do that. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna share here, because it's our little secret juice how we do that, but we do it, and we do it safe. And we are also, we at AZ Rank, we are Amazon certified partners, so Amazon know what we do, and they're
And it
okay with
clearly
it.
works if you've done
And it
6,000
really
plus.
works. Well, yes, I was waiting for you to say that.
I mean,
Just
yeah.
kidding. No, it really
I
works.
get a
Not a
commission. I
lot
get a
of
commission.
people are talking about it. Yes. Not a lot of people are talking about this so much these days, because Amazon has created like a little bit of, but if you're not doing it, or just be sure that your main competitors are,
Yeah.
everyone having success on Amazon right now is doing it one way or the other.
Yeah.
I
No,
can
absolutely.
completely
Absolutely.
promise you that.
Okay, so that leads me to the next thing I want to discuss, because we talked a lot about ranking on Amazon, but what we talk a lot about on this pod, and both me and Max are really passionate about, is also just generally the where the I guess the search industry is going, ranking for like as a brand in different search engines. And we know that Google is already losing dominance in terms of search results. More and more people are using search engines such as Search GPT or Perplexity. So we are moving in a world where AI is going to become a preferred choice to find information, and therefore find brands and purchase, right? So
Yeah.
I guess my question is, firstly, how do you see the space like moving? Of course, right now still a lot of people Google, but like, what do you see like happening in this? And then I want to touch upon like, the other company you currently run, which I feel like is, when I understood what you guys do, I'm like, oh my God, this is kind of the answer. So like, let's touch upon that.
Yes, you're talking about PressX, which is our press article um, company. Yes. Well, the space, it's probably going to be a little bit generation sensitive, this Google and AI thing. For me, which born in the 80s, I'm still using both, because we were raised with Google. It
You
was
know what
the
though? Like, I had a proud moment. My husband doesn't watch this podcast, so I can like, share my joy. The other like 2 weeks ago, he was in London, and he like called me. He was like, "Oh my God, you would never believe, but like for the first time, I decided to like plan the entire journey just using Perplexity, and it's great." And for me, this was such a win, because he always grumbles about me using AI too much. And I was like, ah, you're getting it. And he's also born in the 80s. So you just wait, Alina. I'm going to convert you.
okay. No, I want to be. I mean, I'm open to it. I'm just it's again, you have to learn a little bit about the models, and there are so many. I remember when first ChatGPT appeared.
Yeah.
It was the only one, and then 6 months later there are like hundreds and hundreds, and now there are thousands of tools. And I mean, seriously, it takes a lot of time to even know what they
Tell me
do.
about it.
Right? I know. So yeah, the younger ones and everything coming from now on, I'm pretty sure it's going to be AI. They're going to be AI addicted in the good way, as we were with Google.
Yeah.
Um, for us, we're probably gonna be. pickier, like your husband, for example, or like me. I tried, for example, I was on a trip last week to Milan or Milano, what's the name? In Italy, beautiful city. So I started planning it with ChatGPT and ended it in Google Maps
Okay, yeah.
for some reason. So
Same.
there's a
To be
mix
fair, I
between
do
the
that as
two.
well.
So it's just the way it is. But the space is so dynamic, and they're moving incredibly fast that at some points when I think more in depth at this whole AI thing, I'm starting to get scared. Like, you remember those conspiracy theories like from 2 years ago? AI is gonna, I don't know, end up killing us all and stealing our cards
Conspiracy
and
theories?
identities. Sorry?
Conspiracy theories? Question mark. Who knows? I mean, I never say thank you and please. I mean, give it another 3 years and it might happen because I've been too rude. Sorry, ChatGPT.
Funny thing is that I cannot um, get used to stop saying thank you and please and understanding that it's an AI for
You know
crying out
what?
loud.
It's costing people money. Like there was what was it, 2 weeks ago? I read a report that it's costing like tens or hundreds of millions for Microsoft and OpenAI because people just say like just the mentions of pleases and thank yous because of all the tokens is like using so much like power and tokens and it costing actually millions. So oh well. Anyway.
Okay, lesson learned. I promise I won't.
Save the big guys some money. Yeah.
Yeah, they really need that,
They
right?
really need it.
Yes, so that's my take on the space. At end of the day, we'll just leave and see. We just have to wait and live it through.
And what about pressing?
Regarding Pressex, yeah. So we started this a couple of years ago as an addition to the ranking part that we
Mhm.
do on Amazon. This would be the off Amazon part. Now it's a little bit different because basically what Pressex does, we connect the brand or a specific product of the brand. We pitch that product to certain category of publishers who would be interested in writing an article, but this about the product or the brand. But this is, I mean, I know a lot of people when we say press in the Amazon world or in the e-com world, they're thinking press releases or the press. News websites and so on. Now, this is a little bit more than that. It's like these are really real articles in very good and high authority domains, like, I don't know, Vogue, can be Cosmopolitan, just a few examples, Daily Mail, and so on. So um, at the end of the day, it's a lot of brand awareness for the brand. First thing you should do, I mean, first thing for a brand that works with us is go back to Amazon and put on your listing featured in,
Yeah.
right? That would be number one. But then inside the article, to continue the story, so the we pitch the product, we find a good publisher, they agree, everything is settled, they write the article. Inside the article, there's the link that comes to your Amazon, let's say Amazon, but it can be Shopify, it can be your own website, can be whatever, right? So that's basically the external traffic that comes from some very high authority domains to Amazon with people who may purchase, who just may look at it, may save it for a future date. But the traffic itself, it's very valuable, and Amazon rewards the listing for that with ranking, with all that. So that's it in a nutshell. Now with the AI and the new era of all these language models, there is a lot of opportunity out there to basically get the social mentions and the everything that you need in order for ChatGPT and all the other guys out there to recommend you as a product, or probably as a brand more to start with, for the people who are looking to search.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, like, AI search engines, in essence, like, they, in order to make up their recommendation, they don't come up with it just off the bat. They like are trained or are getting trained by like reading a lot of different sources. Some are more like publicly available sources like Reddit, Quora, Wikipedia. So that's one important space where you should like think about optimizing for ranking for those. But another place which these engines essentially index in order to like decide on their answers is reputable publications. And in order to get that spread of mentions for your brand in like these areas which these large language models certainly actually scan in order to get their opinion, let's call it, that's a great way to actually like do that very fast. Because normally you would have to hire a PR agency, and I think put a lot of effort on pitching to journalists, which by the way, like totally legit way, and it's kind of like a long-term strategy. But if you want to start building more of a short-term presence in a lot of various publications, I think this is I got so excited when I heard about this, because it's just it's a total shortcut. By the way, I am not really getting any commission from Alina. I am genuinely excited about this too. This is totally my opinion. She hasn't slipped 50 euros under the table, or has she? You never know. Yeah.
I promise I did not.
Anyway, like I wanna ask you, like, because obviously we're an AI for e-commerce podcast. How do you use AI in your day-to-day, in your business? You are a brand owner, you have like so many different other businesses. Like what do you do for like optimizing your process with AI?
Not enough, I'm pretty sure. As I said, I'm working on it, but being a little bit more like an old school. Not that I don't like the AI, I totally like it, but for me, as a person, I need to understand very well and then process. I didn't used to be like that, but probably with the age, I don't know.
Yay!
My very young age from the 80s. We recently started using Instantly for email, keeping our audience, let's say, warm, getting new leads and so on. That would be something. We're using ChatGPT. I'm trying to build some processes right now that can be helpful for the team. We don't have a very large team as on the brand owner side of the business, and on the agency side, AI is, at this point I haven't identified yet like very big pain points. There are. I just need to focus out there, because the way we do we do everything regarding ranking is, and I think we're probably the only ones out there who still do it this way, but it's more manual. We're still using people, because as I said, we have adapted our processes. That's why we're still here after 7 years. That's why the way we do things work and work very well. But for that, I cannot automate. I cannot use softwares. I cannot use the AI. I cannot use chatbots. I need people. So for the agency part, besides emails and ChatGPT for whatever, everything. we ask its opinion. I'm starting to get friendly with Perplexity as well, and I kind of like it. Just need more time to play with it, like with everything, right? All the tools out there. There's another tool, but I forgot the name that I use for emails. I think you recommended that, and it's very
Sandbox?
helpful.
Is
Yes,
it?
Sandbox.
Okay,
Sandbox.
cool.
Yes. So it's getting it's growing. I say maybe not day by day, but month by month for sure. There's something new coming in with the AI. As I said, maybe I'm not the ideal person to talk about this because we're not too too deep into this, but for each, I believe for each agency and for everyone is different, because even, for example, for a PPC agency, I'm pretty sure they're not using AI to analyze that, or for listing optimization. Yes, you can use it just up to one point
Yeah.
or after one point.
But you know what? I think like, I think like me, Max, and a lot of the people who talk about AI, we live in a little bit of an AI bubble. I think majority, I mean, like it's true, like we're like AI, AI, cool. But I feel like majority of people in the space are just like in the phase where you are, where you have a gradual rollout, you test a few things, you see what works. And I think this is totally also the right approach. I mean, I feel that a lot of companies right now, they feel this FOMO about AI, which is understandable because AI is very overwhelming and everybody talks about how great it is, and people are like don't necessarily understand it, or they don't know where to start, and it's like too much information, too many tools. I totally get it. Like, even I sometimes feel overwhelmed by AI, and I just do this for living.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
How can that be?
Oh yeah, right. So the point is, I think this is actually really valuable perspective, because I think most of our listeners are in this phase where they are starting to like roll it, but it's a gradual thing. And my always advice is, don't just do AI because you can. Like, it needs to make sense in your business, it needs to make sense for your processes, and it needs to make sense within your like team. I think you can buy like 20 different AI tools, and none of them are going to be useful or adopted because people don't understand them, they don't want them, or they are not fitting in the picture. Like, as you said, in your business, it's about making sure that you do this very carefully with humans so that it works, and it's not something that is against TOS, or right. So in
Yeah.
your business, it makes sense. And I think, again, AI should not be there for the sake of having it. It needs to solve an
No.
actual business problem. So
I
yeah.
was reading a post on a LinkedIn post yesterday. I actually put it on my calendar to go check it out in the next few days. I don't remember who said it. It was a list of who wrote it. It was a list of AI tools, uh, out of which I remember Perplexity. I think it was Instantly, a couple of others, but that's not the point. What drew my attention was a comment from somebody maybe a little bit more advanced than me. And that guy was saying the thing that helped him, as I think it was an agency owner or a seller or both, I don't remember. But anyway, the thing that helped him the most was to identify the biggest 2 or 3 pain points that you
Yeah.
currently have in your day to day, but literally day to day, something that you do every day and that you could do better with AI. And by, I don't know, finding something that records your calls and takes notes out of it,
Exactly.
some tool that, for example, I'm trying to find one now that does a good job with videos. So, for example, this podcast, right? I want to listen to. I don't have an hour right now, but I really want to listen to it I want an AI tool that gives me a decent, not crap, not crappy
Sorry.
summary. Sorry for it. Things like that. Your biggest 2 or 3 pain points, and I thought that was extremely, for me, it made so much sense. It was like somebody um, opened the light in the room and say, okay, this is where I have to start, right?
Yeah.
For my next things.
Yeah,
Maybe.
this. By the way, I will tell you after the podcast about the podcast summary. But I'm a really big fan of Atomic Habits by James Clear. You know the book, and I
I
bang
also
on
have
about
an
it
app.
all the time. I've
Do you have
literally,
the app?
huh?
They have an app
Did do
for
they?
Atomic.
Oh, I
They do.
haven't.
I love
I
it.
need to check it out. Yeah, yeah,
Check
yeah.
it
Like
out.
I bought this book for all of my friends and for my husband and for my parents. I love it. So, but anyway, like there's this the one of the chapter talks about the concept of 1% improvement, like that
Yeah, I
compounds.
love
And
it.
I genuinely think that this applies to anything, but it really applies to AI as well. It's like when you're starting off and you don't know where to start off, again, it's not about rolling out the most complex thing that is there that is going to solve all of your problems, but as you said, it's just about picking one like tedious fucking repeating task that you hate doing and just figuring out.
Up your time.
Exactly. So, anyway, on that note, we talked so much about so many interesting things and ranking for a lot. So, if people want to get in touch with you, and would you like to get in touch with you, how should they do so?
Well, my name on the screen, Alina Vlaic, VLAIC, on pretty much every social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I'm there, or just go through our website, azrank.com. Just there's a contact form there. Just reach out with, I don't know, questions, feedback. I don't know. Positive, negative, we take everything.
And also, your
uh,
newsletter is great.
and the newsletter, thank you. Yes, I was almost forgetting about that. It's called the Ranking Pill. I'm very proud of it. It took me a while, to get it started, but it's like a pill because it's not too long, not going out too often, not always on a strict schedule, because in the ranking space it's very difficult to always have new things because some of them are kind of the same, but I'm trying to give value, like I'm trying to make it really useful. I mean, after you read it, to take something out of it, like
Yeah.
a thing that you can literally apply right that moment. So you find it on our website as well, if you want to subscribe. And I think that's it.
Awesome. Well, it was
You can just
really.
Google it. You can ask ChatGPT. I think they know
There you
who.
go. I think
You
so.
can ask,
I will do that test after the episode. I will see if I can find you through Search GPT.
yes. I remember I did it a couple of months ago, and they knew who you were, and they did a good job. ChatGPT did a good job explaining what we do. So
There you go.
maybe
So
now
there
it's
you
even
go. You
better.
just
I
you just
trained.
use
I
AI.
trained it.
Well done. Cool. Alina, it was such a pleasure to talk to you. And for our
Thank you.
listeners, viewers, please tune in next week. We're going to have another great guest. But until then, sayonara.
Bye.